What's up, guys? Welcome to B Sports Picks. So yesterday I went through a video. It was like a 9-minute video. In that video, I explained 4 different plays, and I actually parlayed 2 of them together. So I gave away 4 straight winners. It was a 5-0 sweep because of the parlay. I told you guys it was a little bit juiced. That's the reason I parlayed it. But I gave you guys 5 straight winners. Not only that, but it was a massive day overall. 19-4 day for us yesterday in the VIP. I'm going to show you the receipts for all that so you can see all that. I also have one very strong play in baseball for today. I'm going to show you all the slips that I have available for the VIP if you're interested in that. And if you're snoozing on the free picks, just take a look at my channel. You'll see how many free picks I've been giving out. Free picks has been hitting dramatically good. So don't snooze on that. Make sure you click on where it says free picks, sign up for that. And if you want all the picks, go to the VIP section in the link in the description. So again, guys, it was a 5-0 sweep on the free picks from yesterday's plays that I gave away. I told you guys to pay attention to Mizorowski right here. It turns out that he did one of the fastest pitches of all time in a baseball game. And what sucks is that he actually went against the Cubs, and he went against one of the best batters when he threw that against Crawford. So anyway, there's 105.5 pitch, which was ridiculous. If you watch the replays for that, you could just see how crazy that was. Overall, on the free picks, that brings us to a 38-9 in the last 11 days. So make sure you get the free picks. Let me quickly go over what happened yesterday. So I said I liked the Rays, but the odds were a little bit heavy. You can see right there's a -129. I took it anyway. That hit for us. I had this one in the VIP, which was the Pirates and the Guardians on the under 1.5. I had Jeremy Pena to get 1 hit. Kevin McGrankle to get 1 hit. I also did some soccer. Now, this soccer is a little bit different because these were live bets of something that I'm going to show you later in this video called poly market tracking. There's some more right there. These were actually the reason they had so many plays. I normally don't throw out that many plays in one day, but the reason it was so many is because some of the parlays were opened from the day before. You can see we took France right there, -1.5. They won 4-1. And then a 3-leg parlay, like I said, 2 of them were from the day before. And then the one that closed out was Saginaw yesterday. We had this one as well with Josh Lowe and the Brewers. The other one I gave away, which was massive. I told you guys to take the Marlins at plus money. They ended up winning 4-0. It did get rained out. They were only winning 1-0, but it wouldn't have mattered. They got rained out and it shut down for a little while, so it took longer to close out. But while that was happening, I said, you know what, these guys are going to come back and score. So I took a +1.5 on that, and I ended up doubling down on that. I gave that one away for free. I also gave away the Brewers. I told you about the pitcher. I explained all that, and that hit for us. I also took Rumsfeld to get 1 hit. Uruguay and the Reds and the Pirates, I explained a little bit about this one. I didn't go deep into this one with the Reds and the Pirates, but that ended up hitting on the over. Another 2 batters to get 1 hit. And then I explained the Phillies in detail. And then that's the one I took right there with the Phillies and the Rays on a parlay. So as you can see right there, guys, that was a massive day. I'm going to show you guys how I'm coming up with these soccer plays. I'm basically just following what the sharp edge is telling me. And I'm going to explain what that means. I'm also going to give you guys that one very strong play that I like in baseball for today. I think is one of the strongest plays on the board. Last thing I'll say before I get started is the VIP. It was a 19-4 yesterday. These are all the plays that I threw out this morning. So if you guys are interested in that, make sure you go to the VIP section. You can check us out for 1 day, 1 week, 1 month. If you want the 1 week, 50% off, type in the code word Beast Week when you check that out. All right, guys, let's get right into it. So on the Sharp Edge tool, you can get 7 days for free if you go to the link in the description. The first thing I like to look at is the Sharp Line Monitor. What this does is that it tracks the money from the night before, and then it tracks it every hour. So you can see right there, it started last night at 9:31 p.m., and then it currently got updated at 8:09 a.m. So right here, what we're doing is we're looking at the opening line versus the current line, and I'm just going to kind of scroll through here. The Tigers is one of them that stands out. You can see it went from 114 to 123. I didn't like other things in that game, so I skipped it. The Blue Jays, same thing. This is a huge line movement. It went from 153 to 179. However, there's a lot of contradictions in that game. I'm just kind of giving you a breakdown of what the slate is looking like. Even though there's a lot of games, there's a lot of contradictions today. Phillies is moving very slightly as an underdog. Same thing with the Diamondbacks. This one is actually moving heavily as an underdog. However, one of the things to know about the Rays is that they've been smashing teams. They beat the shit out of the Royals, and then yesterday they won by a lot as well. So they're on fire right now. And they actually, I believe they beat the Diamondbacks yesterday. We took them, and I believe it was the Diamondbacks. So, anyways, even though the line is moving in their favor, you got to take those things into consideration. That the Rays have been on fire. They've been scoring a lot. Very slightly towards the Nationals, very slightly towards the Rockies, the Guardians, the Brewers is moving very slightly as well, and then the Dodgers right here. So the Dodgers is moving very slightly. It's like 6 cents, so it is moving in their favor. Once you have all that information, you kind of look at the slate overall where the lines are going. Then you kind of want to look at, okay, for example, the Blue Jays said that the line was moving in their favor by a lot, yet the projections say that the Rangers should be winning. That's the type of stuff that I was saying that is a contradiction that you have to be worried about, or not worried about, but be aware of. Phillies is supposed to win over here. Brewers is supposed to win. Miami Marlins is supposed to win again. And then you got the Dodgers. They're supposed to win by a lot right here. I don't trust them to cover that spread of or the run line of a -1.5. But I'll tell you that I do like the Dodgers in this position. Also, the Giants versus the Atlanta Braves. There's a lot of contradictions in that game. So overall, this just gives you a picture of the projections. One thing I added, I will tell you, this has been hitting a lot for us. I showed you how many batter props I have for today, how many batter props I had yesterday, and they're all coming from this page. From this page right here, which is props, it gives you the breakdown of which ones you should be looking at. It gives you the standard lean, the strong leans. It tells you which ones. Basically, it filters out all the junk, and it tells you these are the ones you should be looking at. It gives you the reasoning why. It literally says why right here. And then it gives you the breakdown, the form, the versus hand, the BVP, meaning the batter versus pitcher, the arms, the lineup, the environment, and then the value. So overall, you definitely want to take a look at this. Also on the under RBIs and the under stolen bases. Now, a lot of people, what I noticed, I track everything. So what I noticed is that a lot of people that are paying for this service, they actually the first thing that they look at is the sharp plays. So right here, what it's telling you is in the sharp plays, it's telling you to take a look at Colorado and versus Minnesota on the over 9.5. The other one to take a look at is Milwaukee on the first 5 innings, and is giving you the reasoning why right here. However, you can go deeper into each one of these games, which I'm going to do right now. And I don't always take the ones that say strong right here, but it's a good point. It's a good place to start because it gives you the point direction where to go. All right, so here's the play, guys. It's going to go on the over on this game. It's the Rockies versus the Twins. The line is still stuck from a 9.5 to a 9.5, so the line is not moving. However, it's going to be a very close game. You can see 58% chance compared to a 44% chance. So whenever you're looking on the overs, you want it to be a close game because that means that if it gets tied, then they go into extra innings. Obviously, we're not betting that it's going to go on the extra innings, but that's something to note. That if they end up going to extra innings, that gives us a better chance to go on the over. So now we start going deeper into this. On the over, you can see the Minnesota Twins. On the last 33 games, they've gone 66% of the time on the over. Now we're actually fading this guy right here, Lorenzen, 6.85 ERA, which is horrible. Paredes is a lot better. He does win games, but this guy is just straight trash. Not only that, but the bullpen right here is 4.86 versus a 5.16. This bullpen for both of these teams is straight garbage. Now, that's what we want. We want bad pitching, okay? So the only thing that sucks about this game is that they do have Paredes right here, but even then, he's not amazing. He's somewhat decent. Compare that to this guy, which is straight trash, and then the bullpen is straight trash for both of these teams. That's what we want. We want very bad pitching and somewhat decent batting. So you can see in the OPS, Colorado has been on fire. They do score a lot of runs. They score about 5 runs per game, and then the Twins score about 6 runs per game. So you take that into consideration on both of them, that's 10 runs total. That alone would, just on the projections alone, that'll get us over the 9.5. Now, if we look deeper into this, you see the odds right here is telling you that the Twins should go over 5 runs. And the odds for that is -130. And over here, it says that they're going to go under 5 runs, which is 130. But even then, like I said, this is 5 and this is 4. So that's right around 9. That's just the projections, obviously. But we're taking into consideration that they have a sorry-ass bullpen and the starting pitcher is very bad for Colorado. On top of that, Colorado has been on fire on getting on base and scoring. So that's the play, guys. If you don't want to risk it, get the over 8.5. I'm taking it where the current line is at the over 9.5. That's the play. The Rockies and the Twins over 9.5. Now let me show you very quickly what I've been doing with the soccer, just so you can see what's going on. Now for the soccer, I'm pretty much done testing, so I'm going to be throwing these out in the VIP as well. I haven't done that in the last couple of days, but I'm pretty much done testing. So what this does is that it goes out and it tracks 110 different traders. So what this does is the Poly Market tool, which is in the Sharp Edge. And what this is doing is that it tracks the top traders in the industry for soccer. So what it's doing right here is it's giving us the best plays for soccer. And then it gives me a message. It sends me a text message and it says, hey, these are the ones that these people are throwing their money into. So right here, these are already from yesterday. So you don't see value in these. But then this gets updated like 6-7 times per day. So let me just show you what this means. So let me just show you an example right here. Like I said, this is not a value card right now because it hasn't been updated for the day. But let me just show you what this kind of means. So what this is showing right here, it says, will Brazil and Japan end in a draw? And then it says no. So the play is no, that Brazil and Japan will not end in a draw. So what this is showing you is that he went on the side of no right here. He went in at 75.9 cents. Those are just kind of the odds flipped into Poly Market. And then it says that the value is currently 75.5. So this actually dropped in value. And I would not touch this because it's already very expensive at 75 cents. And he does have about 60,000 shares. So anyways, this is getting a little bit beyond what I wanted to talk about. But what I'm trying to say here is sometimes you'll get an alert. Let me just give you this as an example. You would get an alert that this says a 2.6 conviction. So Panama and England to end in a draw, it says no. And he's saying no right here. So he went in 129,000 shares at 89 cents. So if you do the math, I'm not going to do it for you, but that's a lot of money. 129,000 times 0.89. So whatever that is, that's how much money these guys are throwing into it. And that's how I've been following this stuff. I get this alert. You don't have to know all these numbers. Just know that if it says a conviction is strong and they're throwing a lot of money into it, and you know that it's a strong a trader that's doing it, that's how I've been tracking and throwing in my bets that I showed you all the receipts for, and they've been winning a lot. Let me show you one other thing inside the same tool right here. It's called consensus. So right here it's saying, will France win the World Cup? And it started at 12 cents. I've mentioned this a few days ago. It started at 10 cents, and now it's at 22 cents. The day I showed it a couple of days ago, it was worth 19 cents. So this is constantly going up in value, and more traders are getting in here. And you can see they got a $1.1 million backing saying that France will win the World Cup. You can just see how much money is being invested into Poly Market, 3.5 million, 1.1 million. So now I see this one just came in. Will England win the 2026 World Cup? $3.5 million is saying yes. 4 of the top traders are putting money into that, and so on. So this changes all the time. Just be aware of that this tab exists inside of the Sharp Edge. All right, guys, if you are interested in all the picks, you don't want to worry about not even looking at this stuff. You don't care about that. You want just free picks thrown in your email and your text. Go to the link in the description, click on VIP. Also, if you've been snoozing on the free picks, make sure you click on free picks and make sure to subscribe. We're about 40 people from being at 5,000 subscribers. Thank you so much. Let's have a great day. Take an extra second, click on subscribe.